good afternoon, everybody. I am Dr. Richelle Moore, and somebody do me a favor and ask me what we're going to do today.
What are we going to do today?
The same thing we'll do every Sunday. Try to take over the world.
Yeah. Amen.
But not the whole world, just our world. And the whole purpose of metaphysical studies and universal law, in my opinion, is to be able to control your world, to have some responsibility, not blame, but some responsibility for what happens in your life. I think it's important that you get what you want out of life, and I'll tell you why it's important to me. I feel like the reasons why you have desire, first of all, desire is not want. Want is kind of a suffering. It has a underscore of suffering and pain, and I want it. That's not what I'm talking about. When I speak of desire, I'm talking about something that will fulfill you. And you're not afraid to not get it because you know it's for you. And the reason it's important for you to manifest your desires is because that's what helps to evolve the world. The reason you want the desire is for the journey, so that you can have the experience, so that you can grow. And when you grow, we all grow. Because once you see someone perform a miracle, then it's not really a miracle because you can do it too, So your evolution helps me. So I'm really interested, like the same way nature is, everything in nature is interested deeply in your evolution and you getting your desires. It's very important. So let me just give you a little background about me, because I'm fabulous. I go by Dr. Moore because I have had some theoretical teaching about divinity, but my real knowledge comes from working with shamans and healers in the mountains of Santa Cruz, California. Ayahuasca ceremonies in Peru, and just traveling and learning about what God really is. Learning that I can have a conversation with a tree, and although the exchange is not one that's verbal, the energy that's given to me and received by me is turned into a language that I can understand and that I can take with me, and I can use that to help evolve you all and myself. So my study is more of one that's experiential. I know the doctrine, I get it, and it's great if you want to control minds, but that's not my purpose. My purpose is to guide people to guide themselves, because we all have our own medicine. I truly believe that. And it's not that you can't go to someone for spiritual help. You absolutely can. But I want you to know that you have a direct connection and that you can and should go to God yourself, because you are God. We came into this beautiful physical reality. We came forward just as clear and pure and divine, and the others that were here before us began telling us stuff that they didn't necessarily know about, and we bought into it because we love them and we believe that they love us and that they're telling us what's best for us. No one can really tell you what's best for you. I can tell you what's best for me if you do that. There's an air of selfishness in everything that we communicate to one another. So my purpose is that I give you this information, you take it, and you do with it what you feel is right. Extract what you need, filter out anything that doesn't fit. And if you can help me to grow my message, I'm so with that. Like I want questions that stretch me and grow me and cause me to have to think. I don't have all of the answers, but I know I can access them. And so anytime a question is asked of me and I can go to spirit with it and I can get my answer, that's growth. And I'm into it. So here's what we're going to do. What I want to talk about is how you can expect this gathering to go today and in the future. So we're going to begin the class. I'm not going to do an introduction every single time. We got it on tape. but for the purpose of, just letting people know my background, because I do feel like it's important. Like, why should you listen to me? What expertise do I have that you would be interested in? So I do feel like the introduction is important, but I'm this is the last time. The last time was the last time. But the course is called Metaphysical Studies and Universal Law for the sake of applying it to your life. I want you to accept that you have a power to navigate through the earthly plane as a leader, and that you are here to manifest your desires for the purpose of evolving all of humanity. So the lessons to come this week, we're going to talk about the matrix, okay? What it is and how it serves you. Week number 2, we're talking about law of agreement. I call it law of agreement. Others call it law of attraction. How to understand and use this powerful law. I think a lot has been lost. Yeah, I mean, it's about cars and houses and cell phones, but there's a deeper meaning that you can use law of agreement in your everyday life, just to have some better experiences with your people, relationships, on your job, even in your dreams. You should be having really beautiful, happy experiences, and I want that for you. So week 3, we're going to talk about the benefits of imperfection and welcoming imperfection and how it serves your highest good. And I have some really cool examples of how stuff looked like it was going crazy, and in the end I was like, thank God that happened. And I'm sure everybody's experienced that. So and when you understand that imperfection is perfect, you can accept and allow it, you can relax, and you give the universe room to work for you. You got a whole bunch of employees, dead men and women, ghosts working on your behalf. But when you try to get in there with your effort and you're thinking and you're worrying how to do it, you don't give the powers that create worlds the opportunity to work for you. They're like your spiritual employees, and they love to delight you. It's their favorite thing. Week 4, we're going to talk about mastery, using the tools of the brain to master the matrix. Your brain is a tool. It's not who you are. It has fooled a lot of us into thinking it's who we are. And we think these thoughts are us. We think that what we perceive is us. But what I want to invite you to do is just shift your perspective little by little, so that you have that omnipresence that you really can embody. A lot of people don't believe that. You can actually be in more than one place at one time. You can telepathically communicate with other people. You're not limited by the laws of physics, but there's a way to do it. The same way we use gravity to fly planes, even though, gravity is to pull us and ground us to the earth. But we use that energy to fly planes. That's a really cool concept in using something that is the unforgiving law to work on our behalf. Okay, and we can do that in many ways. Week 5, we're going to be breaking down the 12 most powerful universal laws. It's a lot of them. Many different names, packaged different, but it's certain ones that in this dimension are most important to you. Week 6, theory versus practical application. And that's kind of redundant because, I've said, how do you use it in your life? This is how you use it in your life. How is it pertinent in your life? But that's really the most important thing. I mean, who cares about getting all the knowledge if you don't know how to use it? It's got to be relevant, okay? And then week 7, I'm going to do an introduction to A Course in Miracles. Now that's kind of crazy to do an introduction at the end of, but I want to bring that more once we do the next cycle. I want to incorporate that more into because it really is, shifting perspective is less about looking at it another way and just knowing that everything is nothing until you give it meaning. So once you realize it's nothing until you say this is what it is, you realize your creative power, and you even understand how even in a moment, in a moment, you can shift and change and create something new. Just with what you are, what you have. You don't need anything extra. Little side note, this is coming to me right now. We oftentimes think that we need another degree, another piece of paper, another car, another house, another suit to validate who we are and what we're saying and what we want to do in the world. You have everything you need right now to do everything you want to do. You have it in this very moment. You don't need to add anything else to yourself. And if something needs to be added, the universe will see to it that you get it. So that's it for that. So, okay, let's go ahead and talk about what the matrix is. I like to think of the matrix sort of like the internet, right? So the internet is all these computers connected together. that kind of all make one big supercomputer. And a computer is very unforgiving, just like, you know, the natural laws are. You put in information, if it ain't right, the computer says, nope, you can't have access. You didn't put in the right, you didn't capitalize the I. You know, you didn't add the one. It's not gonna let you in unless you give it the right information. And so that's why what Orion talked about was so perfect, such a perfect segue, because what you put out, you get back. You know, and a lot of people say, well, you know, I was talking to my son and he said, well, you know, I've just gone through so much and I've gone through this and I've gone through that. I said, let's not talk about that. Well, I gotta tell you what I went through so you can understand. I don't need to understand. We're creating from right now forward. And if you keep talking about what you got, you're gonna keep getting what you got. And he said, well, but let me just tell you. I said, listen, listen now, I won't hear you. Okay, tell me what you want to do now. He said, okay, well, I don't want, that's not what I said. I said, what do you want to create? And so he's putting out information, energy that he doesn't want and can't understand why he's getting what he gets. So he said to me, he said, well, I don't think, and just a little backstory, he recently moved in with me, which is a huge come up for him. It's an upgrade, right? So, so he said, well, I don't think this positivity stuff works. I just don't think it works. You know, I've been thinking positive for a long time, and you know, I've struggled for a long time. I said, are you struggling now? Right now, in this moment, what do you need? You drive my car, and I got a nice car, okay? You got keys to a door. When you put the key in the lock, it works. You flick the light, the lights come on. You open the refrigerator, there's food. You want for nothing. I even got you your job. What do you mean the positivity doesn't work? Wow. What do you mean? And I manifested him into my life. I was thinking about him a few weeks ago. I said, you know, it doesn't feel, it's unsettling to me that I have all this knowledge and I have not bestowed this upon him. I was very young when I had him. I was 17. And I didn't know what I didn't know. And this is new information for me. Like, this is maybe within the last 10, 12 years that I'm learning all of this stuff. And I'm like, man, it would be really cool if he knew some of this stuff. And we came together in a very unfortunate, imperfect way. But we're doing good. We're doing good. And he's learning and he's growing and he's finally getting it. And it was interesting to hear him say, this positivity stuff isn't working. I said, what's wrong with you? And he goes, oh, yeah. Yeah. Like, you know, I'm not disillusioned by the fact that I raise vibrations when I'm around people. I took on that as my purpose. And I mean it. You know, I mean business. So when I'm around people, I heal. Just my presence. And that's what I want to let him know, that you can do that. But you got to start with you. Okay, you have to start with you. So back to the matrix. That was, you know, that was some spirit coming in. So back to the matrix. So all computers are connected, and you can get information from these other computers. You can get viruses from these other computers. You can get spyware from these other computers. You can get spyware from other people. You know, that's why you have to really be careful about who it is you spend your time and share energy with. Things do rub off, which is why a group like this is so important, because when you're around people who have a desire to raise their vibration, you're naturally raised. You can't help it. You cannot be in the company of a group like this and not rise to the occasion. It must happen. You have no choice. So, you know, hey, just come and be amongst a group of people that share the same desires that you do, which, like you said, to live in love and light. Walk in that, embody that, share it with others, and that's what we're here for. So you put information into your computer, you get information back. If you type a password wrong, you won't be allowed access. Your personal computer is like your brain. You don't really learn. Your computer doesn't learn. Okay, all your computer does is give you information. Your brain is just a processing system. You don't see with your eyes, you see with your brain. You can close your eyes and see anything you want without your visuals, you know? So that being said, you affect a ripple through the matrix whenever you look at something, whenever you imagine something. And that's how you create. Now you mix that with some emotion, and it's another story, you know? How you decide to extract that and put it back out into the universe determines what you'll get. And so the matrix is like, imagine yourself, no body, no physical body. You're just a spiritual nebulous mist. And you're surrounded by a net, right? And we're gonna call that net your brain. And that net will only allow in certain information. It'll only allow in, so every single possibility in the universe is coming towards you. But the only thing that can get into that net is what matches your consciousness. Okay, so it's like, so if you broke, I'm broke, money, you know, riches, you know, anything positive. If you're in a negative consciousness, or maybe I should say a low level of consciousness, certain things won't be allowed in. And so, as Orion mentioned, you have to open yourself up to that love, because all these things that we think of, oh, that's just material things, those are representations of love, or love in some lesser degree. Everything is still love, it's just some lesser degree of it. So depression is probably the lowest degree of love, probably the lowest degree of energy, because it doesn't move anything. It has no energy, almost no energy. But if you move up to, say, anxiety or anger or frustration or, you know, even satisfaction, you're still moving up, and you likened it to walking across the room. Well, if you had a cup and the empty cup is depression and the full cup is, I could even go past love and call it nirvana, you know? So the more you fill your cup up with positive things, the closer you are to that from which you were created, which is perfection, divinity, light, love, God, higher self. And we can be these blended beings if we understand how to navigate through the matrix, okay? So let's talk about how I navigate through the matrix. I have some really unique processes, and I like to give processes and procedures so that you have something to take with you, okay? So one of my processes, and this is a beautiful practice that I recently shared with Tamika. When I meditate, I don't just meditate on I am. I know a lot of people do that. I meditate on I am God. I am God. And I say it in different voices. You know, I ask myself, I am God? And I wait to hear what comes back. And the answer is yes. I love that, because all these universal forces, from the tree to the roach on the wall to the ant to, you know, everybody is answering yes, you're God. Not partially God, not because when I tell people they're God, they say, well, I know. One person said, well, you mean God with a little G.
Right. Yeah.
You mean God with a no, I don't. I mean God, you know, I mean divinity, you know, and no, well, I mean, I know that I have God in me. Okay, so what's the difference? What's the difference?
There's nothing else to make anything from.
You are God, and the same thing that you were mentioning is that it's intimidating, because that's a lot of responsibility, baby. Woo! That, you know, you got a lot of work, but you really don't, because everybody around you are gods and goddesses. You let them do their work and you do your work. You know, they came here with a purpose, they came here with an intention, and like I mentioned earlier, we come so pure and so open, and those that came before us start working on us. And nobody told us when you leave home, you got to re-raise yourself. You got to start the process all over. And you have to almost have another forgetting, like you did when you came forward. You have to go through another forgetting so that you can figure out who you are, why you came, what you're here to do, And, you know, you can have some fun experiences along the way. I personally believe that your 20s is just for like throwing it away. You know, I think your 20s is just, you know, hey, just go and do whatever you want to do and figure it out later. You got plenty of time because you never get it wrong. You never get it finished. You're going to come back around a few more times. I was telling Tamika yesterday, I said, listen, she said, I'm an old soul. I said, you ain't been here but once. you ain't been here but once, you know. Actually, I think she's been around she's had a couple of go rounds. But the fun thing about it, or that is the fun thing about it, that there is no ending. There is no death. So, I mean, just have fun. Just have fun. So, meditating on I am God and having an understanding of what exactly that means to you. So, when I was 17, I had, you know, a son. And at the time, I don't know, it may still be, but at the time, that was considered a terrible, horrible thing. You know, you're just a baby yourself. And I admitted I was. There was a lot of things that I didn't know. But the difference between me then and when I thought I was grown, when I thought I knew everything, was that I had no fear. I had no fear. I just knew, I said, oh my God, I'm gonna have me a little baby to play with, and we're gonna have fun, and I'm gonna get to do this, and I'm gonna get to do that. I was the youngest. I didn't have anybody younger than me, so this was gonna be my younger sibling, you know? And not having fear, I was able to accomplish a lot. I had a lot of naysayers. Well, you know, you're gonna be on welfare. You're not gonna be able to go to college. You're not gonna be, what I love about that younger me is that I said, no, I can still go to college. Yeah, why not? Well, you got a baby to take care of. Well, I can do that too. You know, I can take care of my baby and I can take care of myself. Let me tell it, back then I had 20 hands. You know, and it wasn't until I probably hit my early 30s where I started to question myself and I started to feel inadequate and inferior. And that's when things did, because the messages had kind of sunk in, you know, by then. Before it was all kind of like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, you know. And I kind of liked life more when I didn't know so much. It was a lot more fun. I was able to create more. Now, I didn't know that that's what I was doing. I didn't realize that I was creating. But I have to say, what I created was really magnificent. I was able to go to college. I, you know, got a couple degrees and paid off a bunch of student loans before I was 30 with no help. You know, I've owned several businesses. They've all been successful. And when I was done working them, I said, I want to do something else, you know? And people were kind of, that was, I caught a lot of criticism for that. But looking back, I was still am, but I see where I was a really powerful creator. And I was less interested. I did not factor in what other people thought so much. When I started doing that was when I started tripping myself up. I was getting these computer viruses, you know, from these other minds, these other brains. And I use the word brain. Y'all might have to keep me on track. I like to use the word brain because I think there's only one mind, and that's the collective mind, where we all have these individual brains that we use to process information and then communicate it back out. So if I say mind, meaning brain, please help me out and correct me. I would appreciate that. I was getting these viruses, you know, obsolete information. My mom said something to me one day, I can't even remember and I don't care to, but she said something really negative and critical. And I said, did you have the internet when you were growing up? Like, I have the internet. Okay, so, you know, I feel like way superior because I can communicate with people around the world. You know, I can actually start a television network and upload it to YouTube today. Like, you didn't have that, so don't look, you know. And even that was what I understand now, is that her saying these negative things was me creating it inside me, and her saying, this is what you're creating. This is your fear. She was just mirroring it back to me, you know. And so that's part of the benefits of imperfection, is that you need to see it. It needs to be tangible. It needs to be impactful. And a lot of times it'll happen over and over and over, because the universe is really loving and will teach you the same thing over and over and over and over. It will go over the lesson over and over. And so patient, you know? And no matter how many times you screw up, it lovingly picks you back up and says, okay, let's start over. You remember what I said before? Oh, you don't? Okay, well, let's start at the beginning. And but it can be a beautiful practice when you realize how interested in your success the universe is. The universe is really, really that interested in your success. To the point where, other people may criticize you, and all that is a reflection of your criticism of yourself. They're not criticizing you. They're just unsuspecting guides. They're unsuspecting spirit guides here to tell you what's going on inside of you. Here to let you know, hey, you got some vibrational work to do. You got some cleaning up to do, because you can do better than this. You're better than what you think you are. So start thinking that you're better than you are, and you'll realize it. But because the matrix is such a connected place, such a connected force, you cannot have an experience outside of you that wasn't first created inside of you. It's impossible. Even this beautiful experience. So a few years ago, I was talking to somebody. If somebody had told me I would be doing this, I would say, because I'm a businesswoman. I'm a businesswoman. I like business. I like contract management. I like dollars, and I like figuring it out and bringing, two minds together that have totally different desires and making them want the same thing and being able to put it on paper, and make it happen, and everybody walk away happy. I really enjoy that. But what I've learned is that there's a lot of art and spirit in business, and it happens in the spiritual realm first. And I'm the artist, and I get to create whatever outcome, and that was really the fulfilling part. It's not the contracts, it's not the houses, it's the fact that I created something that didn't exist before. And so I get to influence other people to something greater, and I get to walk away and do it again, and do it again, and do it again. So if I have an investor who comes to me, I'm in my nothingness, waiting for my next client, and I'm sending out a ripple effect. I'm looking for something, and because I'm looking for something, I'm waiting for all the ingredients to come together, and the universe is gathering the ingredients, the cooperative components, and putting them all together and packaging them so that I can recognize them when they come forward. And they come forward, and I then dismantle it. A lot of times in my ignorance, I pull it all apart, and before I would try to figure out what was wrong. Now I try to figure out what's right. And my deals are much better because now I am projecting something different into this universe, and the ripple effect is different. So someone comes to me, they want something, I find out what's right, I find a match, I put it together, and now these people are homeowners or they're investors, and they feel proud. And there's no, for me now, there's no ego in that. I just love the fact that I help somebody accomplish their goal, because I'm at the point where I no longer have goals, because I know that I get everything I want because I'm creating it. So I no longer worry about it or think about it. My new way of thinking about it is when I have a thought, like I wanted a mansion. So I had never had a mansion. Had a real swanky loft, never had a mansion. Okay, so I said, I want a mansion. I said, oh, I'm getting a mansion. That was kind of like, oh, well, if I thought about it, clearly it's mine.
Absolutely.
Glad that's done. And and then I thought, okay, well, that's really small. Like, that's really small. The universe can do better than that. The universe can do better than that. So I had these. I'm gonna call them throat chakra issues, where I would open my mouth and the most offensive thing possible would spring forward. I had angry black woman syndrome, basically, right? And I knew that I wanted to do something like this. I knew I wanted to speak, and I wanted to use my voice to uplift people. But at the place that I was with my anger, which I got from some people in my family, I picked that up, from the women in my family. And I decided to put that baggage down because it's really not mine. But I was feeling like I couldn't really speak to people. I felt very misunderstood, and so I was. And when I decided that people aren't really misunderstanding me, they know exactly what I mean, and they know that it's coming from a place of anger, and it's coming from a place of lack and inferiority, and I'm gonna have to lose that if I want to do this, you know. And even today, looking, you know, at the number of people in the room, I'm very glad that there's an intimate number of people, because I wouldn't want to be faced with a big crowd the first time. And again, the universe is answering me by saying, I lovingly know exactly what you want and need. You don't have to tell me. You need the right people. You don't need everybody. You just need the right people. And the beautiful thing is, I got a lot of people because of that camera. You know, I got worlds if I want. And when you understand that through your consciousness, through your beingness, through your words, through your actions, that you are causing a ripple effect, and how important you're that important to the world, that you're causing a ripple effect and you're affecting other people. It does make you want more than houses and cars. Now, I want to love people. I want to be the light. And when I said, I want to love people, I want to be the light. Oh, okay, you know, that was that thing that the universe could do better. I'm like, we can do better. I can do better. What we got? What, you know, what can we do? So, you know, I did the business ownership thing. That was huge for me. That was beautiful. But this is where I feel most like myself, where I feel most like God. I don't always feel that. I know it intellectually, but I don't always feel it. And it's more of a concern of mine to feel it and walk in it and be it on a consistent basis. What's important is that others walk in it and feel it on a consistent basis, because that's how we evolve. And so that's why I'm here delivering this message, because it's necessary. It's necessary for our evolution that we know who we are. There's been a lot of miseducation. And you can't knock the hustle, because, you know, I mean, they really learned how to control mind, you know. And when I say they, I mean whoever wants to control mind. You know, I'm really adverse to, this is on the subject, but off the subject, but I'm really adverse to the concept of us and them. I really don't love what's happening in the world, where it's being presented as white people against black people. Because I don't believe in it. I feel like, you know, that just doesn't exist. You know, I'm not one of these people who say I don't see color. I see color. Yeah, of course I see color, but it's all beautiful. And it is against my nature to decide that someone is inferior to me, whether it be a police officer, or whether it be a perpetrator, or whether it be a criminal, a beggar. You know, I don't assign inferiority, because my core belief is that we're all equally superior. We're all God. And if I look at a person or a group and say, you know, you're an awful person, or you're wrong, I can't assign a label to someone without first assigning it to myself. You know, so I feel dirty, you know, when I watch these news programs that are trying to get me to believe that there is a such thing as us and them. You know, that just doesn't exist, and I feel the deception in that. Okay, so back to the topic. And you'll learn that I get off topic a lot, because I'm, you know, I try to stay open. And whatever comes, I let it come, you know, because I feel like that's me being my God self. You know, I want to definitely convey. I mean, I got my plans. You know, I got all kinds of stuff written down. You see, I haven't really looked at it because it becomes irrelevant when I start feeling and hearing what it is that you need or what it is that you want to know and what questions you have. It becomes irrelevant. So I don't rely on that. I do have stuff to keep me on track. So what I want to do as well is I want to do, because again, this is for you. This is not just for the knowledge of it. But is everyone clear on my theory of what the matrix is? This big net. We're basically all kind of spiritually holding hands, like our energy is all like we're actually touching each other spiritually. Mm-hmm. You know, even though we perceive it as separation, which separation is a beautiful thing because I love experiencing myself through Adam, and I loved experiencing myself through Orion. That was really a great teaching. That you gave. You spoke a lot of light, so I really appreciate that. But I love experiencing myself through other people. Mm-hmm. But does everyone kind of have a good idea of what my theory on the matrix is? Okay. So this is something new that I'm going to try. And since it's just a few people here, I'm going to do it. I want to do a healing session with anyone who wants one. I want you to tell me what it is that you're looking to manifest, and I'm going to help you manifest it. The group is going to help you manifest it. Nice, right? And I kind of wrote something like this to Adam, but I didn't make it clear that I was going to do this. So this is a fun surprise, right?
I'm for surprises.
Okay. Well, what are you wanting to manifest? Because this is a I want to give a demonstration of how I use the matrix in my to my highest good to manifest. And so this is what this is.
My manifestation is a nonprofit for women, cows. I want it to be national in every state.
So I know about cows. Can you enlighten the rest of the group on what cows stands for?
Cows stands.
Stand up, please, Tamika.
Hello.
Hey, Tamika.
She just loves to be put on the spot, by the way.
Obviously. CAL stands for Celebrate Our Women's Success. It is a nonprofit that is focused around changing the mindset of women in unfortunate situations, we would say, I guess physically we would say, but basically who have been broken down or who feel inferior, and to really change their mindset and to help them understand that they have everything that they need, and to help them physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually through transition homes and different programs. And I would like for that to be at least in every state in America.
Now you're wanting to manifest a physical property where the women who would benefit from the COWS organization, for them to live.
Yes.
Okay. And so tell me what you envision, how you envision this house looking.
I envision it being very beautiful.
Can you be more specific?
Yes. I want it to be almost a cross between a wellness center, a transition home, and a meditation retreat. So a lot of earth space, nature, meditation space, exercise facility, a space for teaching, for training, a space for aromatherapy, for musical therapy, for just really a space for spiritual healing, and to be comfortable for women and their young children who might need to be there.
Would men be allowed to give any sort of contribute to this particular cause?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
How would you envision this house looking? If you were building something like this, how would you envision it looking?
I immediately saw a school property that is no longer in use, maybe elementary level, that could be then subdivided into housing that will also have your classroom capability, kid play capability, And I asked her to stand up because as soon as she said that, I wiped her back of her body and said, it's done.
It's done,
It's
yes.
done. That's why I had you stand up so you can see into that, because when they begin to circulate that, we then know who you are, what you wanted to do, and the name of what you wanted to do. So I didn't see per se a house. I saw almost like a compound. Yeah.
Beautiful. Orion, what do you envision?
I envision like this huge property, acres and acres of land. I'm not gonna give any specific number, but the appropriate amount for people to be out there in nature and to come back inside and receive that facilitation that you seek to deliver to them. And I just see vibrant colors. I'm seeing it in like the springtime, really vibrant colors, all types of variety of plants and animals and whatnot. And just this really, really uplifting environment. Like, people come here almost like ships come to a lighthouse in the night. You know what I mean? And it's I'm getting more of like an energetic vibe, like interpretation of that vision. But I just really feel like it'll be so uplifting and so beneficial. It's that place that people can go to redefine their lives.
Oh, beautiful.
You know what I mean? Like, and I can see people, leaving that place and then go telling their friends about it and this and that, and they say, oh, it was such an amazing place. It was such an amazing place. And I just received so much from there. I can't help but give you a recommendation to go over there and fulfill whatever that, it was just a really, really nice, really great energy. Really, love. Essentially, just different forms of love, whether it's through that, like you said, facilitating, the artistic side or the physical side or whatever it is. They know that they can get that from there, and that's something. That's what else is there to have, really,
Can you stand more?
I can.
What's your name in the back?
Philip.
Thank you.
Philip.
Yeah.
How do you see men contributing to this situation? Or just whatever you would like to pour into her.
Well, what I felt, I felt the people that were involved. I felt women being involved with this that have been through the experience and come out the other side, coming into that space and providing that inspiration to the women, providing that hope when these women are coming in feeling hopeless, to say, it will be better. You can make this better. Believe it will be better. And it will happen.
EJ, do you have any words to share about vows?
I want to comment on, I see a lot of life, not just human life, but trees, birds, and I see this huge, like James says, almost like a compound. And I keep getting this vision from the front, and I can see huge established trees just shading the property. I can see this courtyard, and when I look at the courtyard, I hear waterfalls like fountains and just comfortable places to relax and rejuvenate, and it's just a peaceful vision, a peaceful place, and all natural.
Adam, thank you.
What jumped out at me and took me literally outside of my body, I felt like I traveled. When you started mentioning the rooms and the centers for the aromatherapy and sound therapy, something in me just lit up. And I felt like I just left really quickly and walked through that hallway. And it looked like I was walking through some place, either like Star Trek or Star Wars, these white oval rooms with these colors. And people been able to go in these rooms and, to borrow Orion's word, redefine in ways they did not know they could be redefined in short sessions. And these rooms and these centers becoming this worldwide phenomenon. Have you been to the sound therapy through cows? And people, I saw this following some woman and her story, coming in this broken, confused place, so many viruses, that she don't even know she has. But coming through there and coming out in this sense of, here I am. And going back, and part of every story that she tells is cows. Is part of her origin, of where she is at. And those rooms they just stick out to me so much. They just make me want to just stay there all day in those healing therapy rooms.
Thank you.
So let me tell you why that exercise is really important. One of the ways that you create in the matrix is by having a desire without ego, no ulterior motive. And you may, along your way of going, something in your experience may cause you to feel some negativity, feel some fear, have some ulterior motive. But these people don't. So they can create it for you.
Speak.
They can create it for you, and their energy is gonna stick. You're gonna take this with you.
Yes.
You have raised your vibration on that subject. That's gonna stick with you. And one person giving you positive energy is 1,000,000 times more powerful than anything negative you could bring to the table. So it has no choice but to happen. It's done. It's done. And so that's something that I want to do every time we gather. I want to help someone create something. Sometimes we do get in our own way. It's not intentional. We don't know what we don't know. Sometimes I had a revelation that when I was a kid, my mom talked a lot about struggling. We were not struggling, okay? I lived pretty good, but she talked about it a lot. And even when I was doing well, I talked about it a lot. And I mentioned my son earlier, he was doing the same thing. And I didn't even know that I was doing that. I had to actually step back and think when I was a kid, my mother was God to me, and everything she did was perfect and right. And I just mimicked her. And in mimicking her, I picked up some really bad habits that did not serve me. And it wasn't until, and my rock bottom is not like other people's rock bottom. I'm almost hesitant to say rock bottom because it's really not.
It's yours.
Right, I had to get a plane ticket back to Atlanta from somewhere, really, and I do downplay it because I do recognize that there are levels, but I was at a point where I was really kind of, shaken up about some things emotionally, and I wasn't able to figure things out on my own, so I thought I was all the way in California, 3,000 miles away from everything I know and love, and a friend of mine kicked me out of her home. Now back then I was pissed. I was pissed with her, and because she really didn't have a reason, we just did not. She couldn't get me to yes her all over the place. She would ask me for things, and if I wanted to say no, I felt empowered to say no. And she didn't like that because it was her house, and I get it. So she asked me to leave. And I had to abruptly find myself a way back to Atlanta, and that was rough for me because I don't have financial problems, but I did, and I didn't like it. But what I realized is that I had slipped off of my personal axis, and I had given myself the luxury of victimhood, and that was my rock bottom. But what she did was show me, you have everything you need. You can do this. You don't need my home. You can find your way back. And it's very interesting how this happened. I was at a coffee shop. I love telling this story. So I was at a coffee shop, and I needed $20 to buy my plane ticket. So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna get $20 sitting on this computer. So I packed up all my stuff and I started to walk. And I'm at Lake Merritt, this huge lake. It's kind of like Piedmont Park, but with a lake in the middle. So it's usually a lot of people around this lake. And I'm like, where is everybody? I'm walking down the street and I'm going, where is everybody? And I'm like, I don't know where I'm gonna get this $20, but universe, you better get to working because I need it, And so I'm walking down the street, and I look up and I see something sort of floating down. I thought it was a leaf, and I walk up to it and it's $20. And I'm looking around did somebody drop it? What? Are you kidding me? literally money fell from the sky. Like, and I'm still amazed, like literally. So I get to the place, I sit down and I'm about to log on and buy my ticket. And from the time that I got up and started walking to the time I got back to my computer, the plane ticket had gone up by $20. So I go to the CVS to get like a little prepaid card and to put the money on it. You know, it's like $3 to buy the card and $3 to put. So like I'm down like $12, like $32 actually. So I'm like, okay, I gotta get $32 from somewhere. I said, well, let me check my account, an old account that I almost forgot I had. I go and check, it's $34 in the account.
Oh my goodness.
So like, I mean, I'm on a wing and a prayer, like literally. And I thought to myself, what a profound situation it was that, you know, someone who I was really angry at kind of gave me the same push actually that my mom gave me. She kicked me out when I was 16. Same push. And I was able to redefine my life because somebody said, you got it, go. You know, and it felt mean and wrong, you know, at the time. But looking back, I really appreciate it because those are times where when I was younger, and like I said, I didn't have any fear. I just didn't see anything. I didn't see anything to be afraid of. Well, I developed all of this fear by the time I got to California, and I had to regain that fearlessness. But what was so beautiful is that I really didn't, because the universe is like, I'm gonna drop $20 on you real quick. You know, you know, and I'm still so amazed by that. You know, like to be walking down the street and $20 just floating out of the sky is you know. But I know that there was somebody else helping me to create my flight home. There was somebody that knew that I was in need and that I wasn't able to necessarily create it myself because I had allowed myself to get to such a low place. And so someone, even if it was Carlene, the lady that kicked me out, I'm almost certain it's her. Someone wanted that for me, and they were able to not assert into my experience, because that's not possible either, but they were able to hook a line into what I already wanted for myself and help to manifest that. You know, and I want to, you know, each time we meet, I want to definitely have, if someone needs an economic healing, if someone needs, you know, a new car, wants to get pregnant, I feel like we can, and we're all pregnant anyway with our desires and our futures, but I feel like our purpose, the reason why it's 7 billion of us here on earth, is to help. And we're much more powerful in our spiritual help than we are giving advice and criticizing. And you know, we can just be pointers in the direction and allow people to guide themselves, help guide people to guide themselves. So I want to try another one. Does anyone else have a something that they want to manifest?
You want me to come up? Or?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, my vision, what I want to manifest, is facilitating humankind's evolution. I want to be an ambassador of the light and a sponsor to mankind. I want to bring in the golden age. I want to bring in that better world, you know, where ignorance just doesn't exist anymore. You know, I want to fulfill my role in a way that's an expression of my highest vibration, my highest excitement. I want to just facilitate everybody's change. I want to promote peaceful social reform, political reform, whatever type of reform needs to occur in order to bring about that change, or in order to bring about that better world.
You know, I have to say this. It's been my experience that people who are really like uber successful, they want to change the world. That's usually like their vision. They like want to change the world. So I want to give you that it is done. You're in good company, you know, with people who see a need and who know that they have everything within them to fulfill it. Tamika, can you say some words that might help him to manifest his goal? Like, what's one of the ways, maybe through books or music, do you see this coming about?
I see it through a lot of verbal communication.
Okay.
Not only in and just communication in general. Not only verbal communication, but written communication. Things that you could watch on a video, even artistic expression. Because I have a really artistic side, but really just by being present, being an example. I think being is not only beneficial for you, but being is also beneficial for everybody else, because it could also give them the courage to be who they are. It also may give them the courage to reveal those aspects that they may have been hiding from themselves. And when you see people being who they are, it's like it promotes the fullest expression of yourself too. It's like they're presenting another option.
Yes.
Oh, I could be who I am. Look at him, he's doing it. And you see so many successful people doing it. Why not do it? Why not be who you are? Because whatever, when you're in your fullest vibration, it's always going to yield what we call success, or what we call fulfillment, or things of that nature. Because like I said before, in my class, the universe supports you completely in who you are. You wouldn't exist if it didn't support you. It didn't come here because just to for you to create this experience that was out of alignment with your true vibration. You're worthy of being who you are.
And is that the message that you want to convey to the masses?
Yes.
Tamika?
Well, I definitely see, even before you said it, I did see like videos, MP3s, just books, different media outlets. I see a lot of people coming to you. So I feel like you can just do what you want to do, and speaking more, kind of just putting yourself out there more. And I see the people who you need to help you all reaching out to you and offering their help to you so you can work together. I think that's a great vision, and it definitely is going to happen. So I encourage you.
I want to say that I get a magazine. I get like a magazine, newsletter, some type of periodical. And for a second, an online magazine almost came, but then it didn't. It was something physical. It was something.
I thought about that before. Yeah.
Let's see, where can I start? I'm in agreement with Dr. Richelle. It's already done for you. Just now, yet again, sent a signal, a vibration to the universe and into the ethers. And something I've said for a while is that the ethers is really where life happens. The physicality is its byproduct, you see. And so you've already created that. And while Dr. Richelle was speaking a little moment ago, I also got, because you have a great deal of emotion behind it, that's the exponential factor upon the desire itself. So then that ripples yet again and over and over and reverbs throughout. So it's done.
I'm excited to be here.
It's done. That's what I mean by it's done. It's done. Even if you sat down today and did nothing else, it is done. It's done.
Very good. Thank you.
Philip.
Yes. Well, I might have missed a little bit about what you're trying to do.
He wants to change the world and bring enlightenment to the
Facilitate
masses.
mankind's enlightenment.
Okay, so I did get what you're trying to say there. But what I saw was don't just look at the mass work. Also look at the little
Smaller
work.
community.
Look at maybe working one-on-one with people too. Because I heard you talk about helping people to realize who they authentically are and what they authentically want. And I think that helping people one-on-one to figure that out you'll see a direct impact in that person.
I agree.
And you will gain confidence too. And you will see patterns emerge about the kinds of things
Speak! You better speak! Right, that's so right. You're so right. You're so right. You're so right.
And then you can take that and share that with other people.
Yes, so right. Thank you for that.
And there's an opportunity to do that with Adam's plans for having this space be used for one-on-one sessions.
Don't you love creation? Oh,
It's incredible. It really is. It really is incredible. It really is incredible.
I see a combination of James and Philip, right? It's done. Like James said, if you didn't do another thing from this moment, it will come to pass. It will come to be. And then, like Philip was saying, I don't think you should focus on the big picture.
I feel like Tamika said that people will come to you. I feel like everybody's very much in alignment with
Absolutely.
that. People will come to you individually for some sort of something.
Counsel.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly what I see. When you use the phrase, the light in a dark place, just be.
That's right.
And people will see that spark, they will see that light, and they will, just like a firefly, they will just gravitate to it. And that's all.
Thank you. I feel the vision. As you guys give me
Doesn't
that
feel
description,
done, but
I feel
doesn't
like
feel done.
I'm like, yes.
Feels done.
It's like I started painting a painting. I was like, hey, try it out. See what you can contribute. And you guys have all just really contributed collectively to this vision, and it's done. Like y'all said, thank you.
Well, I'm going to cap it off with this right here, which I'm finding really amazing. Especially when Phil's like, yeah, Adam's great in that. Because I have had a vision of this, what we're doing, years. At least goes back to when I was 25, almost a decade ago. But as you don't act on it, what happened to a dream defers, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And so it's delayed, it's pushed. And it's hard. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to persevere in a world where viruses and distractions are constantly coming in and bombarding you. And even though I created and stuck to the psychic development class in October, as James can attest to this, it's been a struggle. I'm always complaining. I'm always, I think I'm done. Oh, I think I'm ready. Bill, this is the last week. I gotta go to something else. And just was really about 2 months ago, just really in that place of just, even though I had this idea, had this vision, I'm just want to put this back in the closet again, put it in storage, and let it sit another 3 years. And James
Okay, can I
attest to that.
interject something really quickly? Because I feel like that, see, this is such a coming together. I recognize that so many people have those dreams that they just have not given life to and legs to. And that's why I want people to understand that this gathering is for that purpose, to give that thing that scares you every time you think about it, but there's the conflict of wanting it so bad that you can't stand yourself. You know? I want to breathe life into that through this. So I'm glad that you're mentioning that, because that's what evolves us. That's what brings us forward as a group of people.
Well, when he came to that weekly meeting, and you came to it, and the two of you there talking and recognizing, and in my psychic mind, seeing both of you up speaking. Like every time y'all would talk, I'm seeing you speaking, seeing it happen. As y'all are doing right now. Every time my psychic eye. And then something in me, even more so, saying there's this whisper voice, create that space. Create that platform. Create that platform.
Wow.
And I'm just like, I'm to the point I'm like, nope, because as James know, I'm trying to do other things. So then I talked to James, says, you need to talk to Ryan. He has a lot of vision and stuff like that. So I said, Ryan, let's link up and go to lunch. And we had that lunch that Tuesday. Everything that you said you want to do, you did that to me. You reawakened. All of that vision, all of that was lying dormant. That 1 hour that you were speaking, it's like, it turned all the way back on full blast, and I have not stopped. Hence, here we are right now in this space. So you created already. Everybody says it's been done, and everyone's at one-on-one. You put me there in that space that I have not stopped. Hence, here we are today in this space with you two up there.
Beautiful.
Big
So it is them, and it is the one-on-one, just like they
That's
said.
right. That's right.
Can I add one other thing? As you were talking, Adam, and you reiterate on that one-on-one, I think that's the perfect example of what I'm seeing. You one-on-one with him, inspiring him, starting that spark, and he goes out and does the work for you. That's how you end up reaching the masses.
That's right. People who, what I was saying before, these successful people who want to change the world, well, that is exactly what they do. If you think about somebody like a Bill Gates, who didn't have anything, he sold nothing to Xerox to start it. Like he sold them, he didn't even have anything, you know. But he wanted to change the world. He had a vision, and he knew that the components would come together somehow. He didn't worry about the who's, the whens, and the whys. He went and sold them something he didn't have, and he let the universe work on his behalf through other people. And now we have, you know, a juggernaut like Microsoft.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You see it made sense?
I see it. I see it.
Yeah.
Good feeling for you.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you.
So I want to do one last thing for those who have a, because as Adam mentioned, where's the shot? Oh, here it is. So as Adam mentioned, sometimes it can be difficult as you're going through the process. You know, I talked about earlier the perfection of imperfection, or the benefits of imperfection, but we can't see that when we're at ground zero. You know, we don't always recognize that although this looks a certain way, it's not that way. It's just our perception in that moment, and this can easily change. So I want to give you a process that I really enjoy doing, and this is called a focus wheel. Is anybody familiar with a focus wheel?
Heard it. Not as familiar.
You said what, James?
I've heard it.
You've heard it.
I don't know what's real.
Okay. So a focus wheel starts with a circle, and in the center of the circle, you're gonna write whatever it is that you're wanting to create. Okay, so Tamika is creating cows, which I wanna mention again is celebrate our women's success. I just love saying that. And I wanna also say that I love the fact that we're talking about possibly working with women who perceive themselves as inferior, or perceive themselves as having some problem, and understanding that even in the midst of problems, you are still successful. You're successful. You're successful at something. Even if you're successful at failing, you're successful at something, you know, and that needs to be highlighted, because if you're busy looking at what didn't work, what you didn't do, what ain't right, you can't realize your success. And how you realize it is by giving it your attention and focus, and it's really just that simple. So anyway, Tamika wants to create cows, but maybe she's having some issues with, we'll say, getting her 501c3 designation, right? And so she'll write in the center of the circle, 501c3 designation. That's what she wants. And what she'll do on the outside of the circle is she'll write things that are positive about that to raise her vibration on that particular subject, okay? So Tamika, give me a benefit of having your 501c3 certification.
It would make it a lot easier for me to get facilities.
Okay, so this would be a financial benefit.
Yes.
Okay. So she will write financial benefit. And what I like to do, now you could go around and just do different ones, but I would just start right here, and I would even list some things under here, you know, was it not taxed? Right? What are some other financial benefits?
It doesn't allow for donations to be
Oh,
taxed.
donations. And then those donations are tax deductible for the donors. So she could use this and just write down a bunch of financial benefits. Okay. Let's see. Having a 501c3 designation might
It'll protect you.
okay, protection. And then you can write some stuff under protection. It might validate her business. And okay, so this one is a really good one because this gives me something, because I like to tie this stuff in with something more spiritual, just because that's where it counts. That's where it really counts. So if it'll validate her business, it'll give her confidence. If it gives her confidence, she'll have certainty. And through certainty, she'll create. You know, so basically the basic premise of doing a focus wheel is you want to turn away from anything negative that you're feeling, and you want to just flood yourself with everything beneficial, positive, uplifting, happy. You might even say, this is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be a lot of fun working with different people, pouring into these women and telling them how successful they are and showing them how successful they are and helping them to create, you know, whatever it is that they want to create, and knowing that whatever they create is going to help you and it's going to help this group and the world. So, you know, I kept it kind of abstract and very surface on here, but I think you get the point. If you can delve a little bit deeper and connect what you write on your focus wheel with something spiritual, even if you want it to be sort of selfish about it and say, this will uplift me. You know, helping these people will uplift me. It will validate me. I will feel like I am living my purpose in this dimension on this earthly plane, and I can do this. If I can help one person, I've done my job. If I can find one person and donate $1, you know, and that can actually be a goal for you. I'm going to go out this afternoon and find one person to donate $1 to cows. And if I can do that, I'm successful. You know, and then that's a story you can tell the women in the group, which makes them feel more confident, because somebody might look at only being able to get $1 as a failure. But if someone who has built an organization and invited others in and said, hey, you're successful, just because you exist, when you say to them, make your goals smaller and celebrate that. And then as you gain confidence and you gain certainty, then you can create bigger and better things along the way. And so your focus reel is really to kind of shake you out of your victim story, because that's all it is. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, if you got a problem, it's just because you have not recognized the solution. That's pretty much it. You're just very focused on whatever you think the problem is, and so you haven't looked at the solution. And you probably haven't looked at the solution because you haven't stepped back and taken, you know, a look at what you've created thus far. I think, you know, when it comes to our creation, sometimes we want to microwave it. You know, we want it now. But the universe has a lot of things that you need to add to that in order to help you grow into the person who can handle that creation. You don't really want, here's the real gag. You don't really want the object of your desire. You really want the journey.
Right.
You want all those little things in between, because that's what's going to grow you and evolve you. And I promise you, you're going to get your desire and go, let's see what else I can create. Immediately, as soon as you have it and it's tangible and it's tactile and it's in your human experience, you look around. Next, it's only going to satisfy you for the 5 minutes. You know,
On to the next one.
On to the next, because we're you know, evolving constantly, like you mentioned earlier, in the spirit of change. We're just in the spirit of change all the time. You know, I evolve every day. I did tell a couple of backstories earlier, but I am working to not do that anymore, because that's who I was, not who I am. It's not even who I was. It's something that I did. Yeah, is what is, activities and experiences that I had that probably don't really matter at this point. I don't want to be dragging, stuff from the past and plunking it down in the future and pretending like that's my life, because it absolutely is not. My life is what I'm doing right now. I'm actually very thankful because I'm actually living my purpose in this very moment, and this is one of those things that there is no completion of this. I have so much to say. I have so many books to write and so many people to minister to and love on. This will never get old. Ever, never, never, never. So I want to thank you, Adam, for creating a space and creating a forum and
Amen.
for requesting summoning summoning my energy to this place and this space at this time. I have a question. Does anybody want some money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I create these really cool money manifestation audio tracks, and I want to give you some free download cards.
Thank you. Thank you.
Money!
Yes. That's really what I teach most about.